cut is getting used way too hard here. We're just putting it down the road, and 12 months goes pretty fast.
But are we really just putting it down the road, or are we just gonna stall everything?
Well, in 12 months, I'll tell you.
Because I have a fear that these things won't make it back on the list. Next year there'll be more excuses why we shouldn't do a lot of these things, and why we should do other things over other things. And I get why that some of these things are important. I understand the pipeline thing. I'm not against the pipeline. I mean, I have not made one argument about my downtown water sprinkler system, which I think is just as valid and just as important as any of these other projects. But I'm willing to let that go and defer that until, because we need to work out more logistics about that anyway. I'm completely fine with letting that go. I get that it sucks and it hurts to make cuts. Totally get that. But I think cutting out every single thing that actually makes life happy in Enid for people is not necessarily the right route to go either. I think that everybody keeps saying about this is what you do in your household. Well, in your household, when your budget is strapped and you have to make problems, you might rent a movie instead of going to a movie. But you don't completely cut out living your life because you're having a bad month. You make concessions. And I think that what we're asking here is not just to make concessions, it's asking to completely stall development in our town in a lot of ways, and I don't think that that's fair. And I think that if we're going to compromise, it needs to be a true compromise, not just a compromise that one or two people want. That's not a compromise.
Is there some level of would you be willing to compromise? I don't know what items you want to put back in. I think you've made your position fairly clear.
I want to
come down to where people
trails back in.
My only problem with the trails, Tammy, is that, and I commit to you now that I'll help support that next year, put some of that back in there. Because one of my reasons for my rationales for it's okay to take that out this year is we really stepped out last year. We took $2 million out of the reserve fund and put that into trails. Had we not done that and spread it out over 4 years, it would have been less. So really, on the whole, for the community, as far as quality of life, specifically with regards to trails, we're kind of ahead of the game in my mind. So it's okay to defer that for a year and do those next year. To me, that's not a place to borrow money. We put it back in and we just reduce our cash funds. So to me, that's not really, for me personally, that's not a compromisable issue. Because I think we're way ahead of things.
I don't think that we're necessarily putting it on hold, because Joe just reminded us that there's $700,000 going to the Willow Trail.
Which is, again, on the west side of town. It's a very limited usage.
That's not true.
It is too. I'm not gonna go use the trail on Willow. That's
But
way
there-
away from me.
Let her finish, and then you have the floor.
That is.
I can only hear one of you at a time. Go ahead, Tina.
I'm just saying that's one small segment of town. It's not downtown, which we've been pushing for 3 or 4 years, that we've been ignored on. It kept getting shoved down the road, shoved down the road, shoved down the road. Now it's not even being shoved down the road. Now it's being cut completely out. So we've been completely ignored on that, even though we've given direction, very clear direction for several years in a row to get that done. Now it's gonna be completely taken off the list for another trail on the west side of town that is gonna be a very limited amount of usage.
We
And
also
that is
have-
not fair.
And wait a minute.
Go.
We also have the problem
No.
Oh my God, it's not kindergarten.